When you open DaVinci Resolve, you're going to get a number of different windows depending on if you've run the project before and what setting you have here. So if you've opened DaVinci Resolve, you've already been working on projects, your interface will probably look like this. Now, I can't get that starter interface anymore, but when you first bring it up, you'll just have the option to set up databases, and this is blank, if I recall correctly. So a database really just means where you're saving it to, and it's put this way in case you want to save over a server drive or a cloud network, or you're saving on your own computer. I'm saving on my own computer, and it makes a folder. And the way I set that up was when I did a new database, I just picked type disk, and instead of connect, I actually went to create. And let's say I want this to be Resolve Demo Files. And then when I click on the location, it will give me all the drives on my computer. And then you would just click it, select folder, and then create it. So once you've done that, you would hit create. Since I've already done that a couple times, I'm going to leave that alone. So you would hit create. For my purposes, I'm going to hit cancel because you can see it's already here in Resolve. This is where I've been saving everything to in a folder on my D drive called Resolve. Now, depending, if I want to get rid of a project, I can go ahead and delete it. This was a demo I'd done earlier. So I'm just going to go ahead and start a new project now. So I will call this, how about Resolve Intro Demo? And you know that I normally don't like leaving spaces in my folder name because on older computers that can cause an issue, and depending sometimes if you switch from PC or Mac, it doesn't read those correctly either. So I'll go ahead and create, and what you'll see is that it will default normally on mine to cut. And the cut interface is going to look a lot more like your iMovie interface, where you can go ahead and you have your media pool here. You can watch it here, your rough timelines here. You could have an interface that is really just for bringing in the media, but it's just where your clips are kept. And then if you wanted an interface that looked more like Premiere, you would actually use this Edit tab. Now, you can choose whichever one you want. If you want to work in cut mode, you can go there. If you want to go in edit mode, you can. The nice thing is there's also an area for some more advanced special effects. There's a whole area for color correction. So for those of you that get really into video, especially color correcting, you can go ahead and use this. It's much like Photoshop filters. And Fairlight is what they have to edit sound. Now, for most of you, you can probably skip maybe all 3 of these, if not 4 of them. And you will need Deliver when you're done the project, but we'll get to that at the end. So to get my media, I can go to any of these folders, and I can go to File, Import, Media, or I can right-click anywhere you see this kind of media bin. So in Cut, it was there. So I can once again add it here. And adding your bin is like adding a folder because that's what we used to have. We used to have these film bins that were honestly giant trash cans with hooks on them, and that's what we put the film in. And then for here, you'll see the same thing. You can do a bin if you want to put them in a folder, or you can just import your media. Now, I prefer this view, and I'm going to go to my OBS captures and actually import a video you will see on the YouTube channel. So I want these 3. Now, if you're sure that you've set up your project correctly, you would want to keep the same frame rate. However, this is using the default frame rate that I captured my videos in on OBS. I know that one works fine, so I'm going to go ahead and change this project to match what I've already captured. And then if I want to drag it to a timeline, I can just click and drag down. And so this one is actually one of my demos, so I will get this instead. Now this was my video on how to use OBS. Hopefully if you're doing screencast, you watched this beforehand. I can scrub, and I can check my levels.
But to make this easy,
and they're a little low. Honestly, you normally want your levels to be in between 12, -12, and to 0. And since I'm not having a lot of variation in my sound, I could really mix this closer to 0. So what I could do is I could click, and I could increase the gain on that.
So when you're
and I'm getting a little bit of peaking
setting
in my
up
red.
OBS before you,
So I'll lower it just a little bit more.
so when you're setting up OBS before you can record,
And that looks pretty good. I'm in the yellow, but it's not too loud. And then if you notice, I have that hum in the background, and my computer fan is pretty loud. So to get rid of that, to fix this sound, as you guys know, if you do video, normally they say worry about the sound first, right? So what I can do is I don't want to look at audio transitions. A lot of my students look at that. But if I click on this audio effects, I'm going to get all the effects I can do to clean it up. And I'm just going to grab a de-hummer and put that on.
you need to set the proper settings. I do a lot.
And what you'll notice is that it brings up this window that says, I bet this is where the hum is. But if I played that video and the sound wasn't the way I wanted it to be, I could actually just adjust that. Either the amount if I need more, or if it happens to be a higher frequency or a lower frequency, I can kind of move this frequency, I can move this slope. How do you know if you're not a sound expert? I'll honestly tell you,
video on
I just
this.
play.
It should be probably in the blog afterwards or on the same YouTube page in another playlist right below.
And I do it in real time to see where the sound sounds correct to me. Normally I do this with headphones because that'll give me the clearest sound. So normally that's what you want to adjust when you're doing sound in any of your screen captures or projects or such like that. I know we started with sound, but let's go to video next.